that is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency of a federal, state, county, city, township, agency present. This is also for poll workers, school board members, anyone who has signed an oath to the de facto government. Please raise your hand, say your name, and state your position. Okay, second reading. This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at tonight's meeting that is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency of a federal, state, county, city, province, township, agency present? This is also for notary, poll workers, school board members, anyone who signed an oath to the de facto government. Please raise your hand, say your name, and state your position. One last time, this meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at tonight's meeting that is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency of a federal, state, county, city, province, or township agency present? This is also for notary, poll workers, school board members, anyone who has signed an oath to the de facto government. Please raise your hand, say your name, and state your position. Looks like we're all clear. So go ahead. Take it away, Glenn.
Okay, well, shoot, I thought I know I scanned this clerk's letter up, but I'm going to do it again because I can't find it. And then I'll show it. I'll show it on the in the show. So the clerks are usually pretty helpful, you know. Anyways. So I'm just scanning it up, right now.
Hey there, I just made an announcement, so that's good.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to share it. Okay. So I got my stuff back from the Supreme Court, and I just want to make sure everything is working good, and it is. Good. Good. So I got my petition back with some defects. There was some problems, some more problems, and the clerks are actually usually pretty good about babysitting. Anyways, it says that received again on February 4th. Papers are returned for the following reasons. There appears to be parties listed on the cover of the petition that are not parties in the court. And so, they wanted me to. I just made it the same way that they got it listed on the Court of Appeals. The respondents listed that are not designated in the court below are not entitled to join the petition. And then the declaration of indigency does not comply. Okay, so I have to fix that. And the second label statement of the case must precede the reasons. The section labeled statement of the case must precede the reasons for granting section. And so, what happened is that was after there. and they said they couldn't find it. So I put it up front, and now they're saying it's supposed to be after there. Anyways, so I put it in the table of contents, is what I did, and I put it back where it was before.
So who were the petitioners or the participants, I guess, that weren't on the docket? Who were they saying? Were they covering for somebody?
What happened is in the district court, there was a whole bunch of people I sued. And when it got to the Court of Appeals, the Court of Appeals removed some people. And so so the ones,
everybody who hasn't taken an oath, just curious to know that. Just anybody who did they remove anybody who hasn't taken an oath to the case?
I don't know. I didn't pay any attention to it. I don't really care. All that happened is they removed some people. And it's not up to me to argue with them about why they did it or anything else. They just removed them, and that's all there is to it. And the Supreme Court is saying that there's people on there that are not supposed to be there. And so what I did is I made it exactly how the Court of Appeals had it listed in their judgment. Hopefully that'll be okay. Anyways, so that's it. It says I got 60 days from the date of this letter, which means February 5th, March 5th, April 5th. So I got it here a couple days ago, actually, and I'm gonna ship it out. I was hoping to get it out today, but it looks like I'll have to do it Tuesday. Monday's a holiday, so it'll have to be Tuesday. And so I've already dated the affidavit of service, and I'm gonna have everything ready to go. I've already got all of them copied, and I got a box full of you have to send an original and 10 copies of the petition, and so we'll see. That's so, but it's down to these 3 issues right there. One, this one, and this one. So 3 issues. Anyways.
So you didn't have those things in the original docket, or you had the reason for?
In the last one, this one here, the labeled statement of the case. Here, let's go to the actual petition.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome.
Greetings, greetings.
Glenn got his response back from the court, and he's just making the corrections and sending it back. So he's at that point right now.
Very good.
Here we go. So this is the new petition that I prepared. This is with the changes. And if you look here, the respondents are exactly how the Court of Appeals listed them. I could find the other one, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, that's the respondents. And then there's a table of contents. I did make a few little tweaks since there was, I went through and made a few little tweaks, here and there. So I reprinted the whole thing. So the table of contents, see right here, I added in reasons for granting the writ. It's supposed to be after, right here, the section called the statement of the case, right? And so that's supposed to be after. I went and moved it up because they said they couldn't find it. They said it last time. The last time I sent it in, they said they couldn't find it. And so so I put it down here, and I added it into the table of contents. And so now they can't say they can't find it. Anyways, you know, whatever. I'm at this point, I just want to do whatever they want it done, and so I can get it filed. Anyway, so this is the actual petition. I don't know if you want to go through some of this. We could go through the reasons or the questions.
The 17 questions.
Yeah, there's 17 questions, and these are, I really think they want these questions, I'm telling you, because this is stuff. Well, let's go to the reasons for granting the writ, first of all. Let's go there. Right there. So there's the reasons for granting the writ. The writ should be allowed because it's nationally important and will affect almost everybody and all governmental entities in the country. The Pope's minor estates are in place for almost everybody. Almost all governments have established the Pope's municipal corporation, and the Pope's bar, British accredited regency, is a source of corruption because of their lack of Christian common law ethical standards and a violation of the definitive Treaty of Peace of 1783, Article 1. Which is the supreme law of the land under Article 6, Clause 2. And so that's the reasons. It's just a short paragraph, a summary, and then the conclusion. The Pope's 1871 Ecclesiastical Municipal Corporation at 16 Stat 419 operating under Roman canon law in the District of Columbia is unconstitutional, as well as the Pope's minor estate now codified at 31 CFR 363.6 and the Pope's private bar guild foundation of the Federal Bar Association and all its subsidiaries in the various states, because they're all violations of Article 1 and Amendment, because Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, because they're laws respecting the Pope and the Vatican and the Holy See. And they're subjecting the petitioner and all the people are dealing with to their satanic religious ceremony with their fake court cases, their fraud, deception, lies, necromancy, slavery, idolatry, human trafficking. And the Pope's foundation for the Federal Bar Association under the Code of Law for the District of Columbia, now known as Title 35 USC 70501 through 70512, is a violation of the definitive Treaty of Peace of 1783, Article 1, which is the supreme law of the land under Article 6, Clause 2. The findings, conclusions, and recommendations of the United States Magistrate Judge and the ruling of the 97th District Court are each a bill of pains and penalties, legislative usurpation of the bench against the named petitioner, and violations of the bills of attainder clauses, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3, and Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1. The County of Montague, Roman canon law municipal corporation in conspiracy with the Comptroller of Texas and the private bar guild in Texas and the attorney with the rank of general are bringing the District of Columbia outside a maximum of 10 miles square in violation of Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. And so that's the conclusion. And then we can go to the questions. So you're supposed to put the questions right up front, because I think that the reason is that they don't, that frames, that's where they go first, and to decide whether they're even going to take the case. You see what I'm saying? If they don't have questions that they're interested in answering, then it's not going to go well for you. Let me put it that way. Anyways, and notice I put here, fails to be dead or lost at sea, has never been dead or lost at sea, fails to be a surety for the Pope's minor estate, fails to be representing the Pope's minor estate, has never willfully represented the Pope's minor estate. I put that in all my signatures now. Anyways, the questions for review. Is the 1871 Municipal Corporation at 16 Stat 419 a law made by Congress respecting an establishment of religion and an unconstitutional violation of Article 1 and Amendment because it comes from what is now the Vatican and introduces the Pope's Roman canon law into the United States of America. And I was actually thinking about putting in something like without a contract, okay? Because if you get involved, like you go and get a bank loan, well, that's a contract, and so then it changes, okay? Then everything changes, and so, but this one, there's no contract. I went to great a deal of trouble to make sure there was no contract, and like I converted silver to land, and and they still assaulted me with it. Anyways, I was thinking about putting it, but I didn't. Anyways, is the minor estate 31 CFR 363.6 a law made by Congress respecting an establishment of religion and an unconstitutional violation of Article 1 and Amendment because it was created by the Pope's owned and operated Crown of England and the Sister KV Act of 1666 and brought into the United States with the Code of Law for the District of Columbia in 1901 at 31 Stat 1432. Question number 3. Is the National Bar Foundation, Title 35 U.S.C. 70501 through 70512, and all of its subsidiaries in the various states, a law made by Congress respecting an establishment of religion and an unconstitutional violation of Article 1 Amendment because it bring the Pope's private bar guild, British Accredited Regency, into the United States, which originated in the Pope's owned and operated city of London? And they're claiming immunity under the International Organization Immunities Act of 1945. Number 4. And I think this one's even a way better argument, quite frankly. Either one of those is good, but this one is way better. The first one, this one here is basically, they call it patriot mythology. Okay, so that's where they can go with that one, okay? This one, they can't. This one, that's why I say this one's way better. Is the National Bar Foundation, Title 35, U.S.C. 70501 through 70512, and all of its subsidiaries in the various states, a violation of Article 1 of the Definitive Treaty of Peace of 1783, which is the only article still in force under the treaty collection, which is the supreme law of the land under Article 6, Clause 2, because King George approved the Definitive Treaty of Peace of 1783 as Arch-Treasurer and Prince-Elector of the Holy Roman Empire. Read it, it says it right in there, evidencing he was approving it on behalf of the Pope, and because King George and his popes and the Pope's owned and operated Crown of England, for himself, his heirs, and successors, relinquishes all claims to the government propriety. Because propriety is talking about private businesses, which includes the bar. I mean, this is like, a friend of mine brought this up, I gotta say. It's a friend of mine. And he just comes up with all sorts of good stuff. And so this isn't even my idea, quite frankly, but he came up with it. And when I heard it, I thought, oh, I got a home run here, I'll tell you. Anyways, is the minor estate 31 CFR 363.6 a violation of the organic law of the Declaration of Independence? Quote, he's combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation for imposing taxes on us without our consent, which is referencing the Pope and his Sister KV Act of 1666 as the reason for the War of Independence. Question number 6. Is it an unconstitutional violation of Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17? To use the minor estate, 31 CFR 363.6, and the Commerce Clause, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3, to convert the petitioner's land from the land of Texas into the foreign District of Columbia, when there's no evidence of Roman canon law commercial activity and no contract, as evidenced by the fact that silver coin was converted to land, and it was demanded to produce a bona fide contract with no response of any kind. I got to silence my phone here. I was doing that when I logged in and I forgot. And so just invariably somebody will call me and I just want to make sure it doesn't disturb our little live stream. So I just silenced it. But anyways, yeah. no evidence of a Roman canon law commercial activity, no contract, as evidenced by the fact that silver coin was converted to land and it was demanded to produce a bona fide contract with no response of any kind. Is a judgment by the 97th District Court that makes the petitioner a minor estate, 31 CFR 363.6, a bill of pains and penalties, violation of the bills of attainder clauses, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3, and Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1. I'm telling you, I think that's going to be a home run too. I think they're going to, I'd really like to see them. Quite frankly, what I'd really like to see is when the Supreme Court comes down with this decision, a bunch of people in the FBI get arrested and a bunch of people in the U.S. Attorney's Office get arrested, and they have a FBI conducts a raid in Montague County and arrests a bunch of people. So we'll see. We'll see. Is a judgment by the 97th District Court that makes the petitioner a minor estate by presuming incapacity without adjudication, a denial of due process of law under Article 5 an amendment, or a violation of the Equal Protection Clause, Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1. Okay, so the Fifth Amendment, this is one actually that a friend of mine went and did he deals with AI all the time, right? So he had AI come up with some questions. And so this was one of the questions the AI came up with, the presuming incapacity without adjudication. And I thought that was actually a pretty interesting one, and that's why I put it in here. But so then the Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1, that's the Equal Protection Clause. Okay, I don't know how many of you know what clause that is, but that's really important. It talks about the two classes of citizens in there, and they don't like talking about these two classes of citizens, and they've kind of modified that to the point now that it doesn't mean what it originally meant, but that's okay. It still has some power, and let me see if I can find it here. And the Equal Protection Clause.
Yeah, it should talk a lot about concealment, no?
Sorry?
It should talk a lot about concealment.
Not the Equal
They
Protection
can
Clause.
conceal.
Not the Equal Protection Clause. The Equal Protection Clause talks about the two classes of citizens. It's Article 4, Section 3. Section 2, Clause 1. Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1. Right? And let me just share that. Okay, so this is Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1. This is actually a constitution. What happened is a friend of mine, this is Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1. This is a Word file. But what happened is a friend of mine got certified copies of the original Constitution and the original Declaration of Independence and the original Definitive Treaty of Peace of 1783. There's a bunch of them he got. And then he went through and made sure the capitalization in this, and it's called the best federal constitution at the initial signing. And that's, I like using this because it's the capitalization is all identical to the original Constitution, and that's really important. I don't know if you know this or not, but when they were at that Constitutional Convention, when they were writing that Constitution, they had a committee that was assigned for, it was a style committee, and their job was to decide which words would be capitalized and which words would not. And so capitalization is very important. Anyways, so Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1 is the citizens of each state shall be entitled to all the privileges and immunities of citizens in the several states. And so they're talking about state and federal citizens. And so, so that's important. That's really important. And so that's what I'm asking them in this question. And let's put that back. So that is a judgment by the 97th District Court that makes a petitioner a minor estate by presuming incapacity without adjudication, a denial of due process of law under Article 5 an amendment, or I could have actually used that as another question, but I wanted to keep it 17, because I like that number, and so I had to scrunch some of them down. And so, or a violation of the Equal Protection Clause, Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1. And I think it is. But, they may not answer all these questions. All I need them is to answer like one or two, really. I mean, the first three. But if they bring up about the bills of attainder and all that stuff, I mean, it's going to be, I'll tell you, there's so many things where I got screwed. And if they go and really rail on these whores, I guess we'll see. That's all I can say. I have no idea what's going to happen. Is a judgment by the Northern District of Texas that makes the petitioner a minor estate, 31 CFR 363.6, an uncontested bill of pains and penalties, an unconstitutional bill of pains and penalties, violation of the bill of attainder clauses, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3, and Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1. Is a judgment by the Northern District of Texas that makes the petitioner a minor estate, 31 CFR 363.6, by presuming incapacity without adjudication, a denial of due process of law under Article 5 amendment, or a violation of the Equal Protection Clause, Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1. Okay, so that's basically the same one. This is the same one as 8, okay, except one's 97th District Court and the other one's the Northern District of Texas. Is the refusal by the Federal Bureau of Investigation to investigate the 78 criminal complaints a denial of due process of law under Article 5 an amendment? And I think it is. I guess we'll see. Is the refusal by the Federal Bureau of Investigation to investigate the 78 criminal complaints a violation of the Equal Protection Clause under Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1? Yeah, really, that's another good question. I'm telling you, these are really good questions, I think. I think they're going to want to answer them. Anyways, is the refusal by the U.S. Attorney to prosecute the 78 criminal complaints a denial of due process of law under Article 5 an amendment, or a violation of the Equal Protection Clause, Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1? They have to treat everybody the same. Is an unconstitutional violation of the Equal Protection Clause, Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1, for the bar member controller of Texas to authorize the County of Montague Municipal Corporation to make the petitioner a minor estate, to render by force the petitioner's land for taxation, to justify the theft of the petitioner's land, to extort fake money in support of their communist agenda to eliminate private property rights, and because the petitioner is a targeted individual, as evidenced by the targetedjustice.com website. That's kind of a long question. Anyways, I wanted to make sure that it's in there that they rendered by force my land for taxation. Is the forced rendition of the petitioner's land for taxation by the County of Montague Municipal Corporation in conspiracy with the bar member controller of Texas a violation of the organic law of the Declaration of Independence? He's combined with others who subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution, unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation for imposing taxes on us without our consent. And that's exactly what's going on, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, which is referencing the Pope and his Sestate V Act of 1666 as the reason for the War of Independence. Is the findings, conclusions, and recommendations of the United States Magistrate Judge that fails to be a findings of fact and conclusions of law, a legislative usurpation of the bench because it's involving a fiction of law, which fails to exist under the Pope's ecclesiastical law penalizing the petitioner, a named individual, with a non-judicial theft of land, and a bill of pains and penalties violation of the bills of attainder clauses, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3, and Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1. I think that there's some of these questions are kind of lengthy, and so it's hard to say whether they'll come out and answer them. I think that they will. There's a bunch of them. I think they're going to answer a bunch of these questions. We'll see. That's all I can say. I wish I could predict the future. Is the findings, conclusions, and recommendation of the United States Magistrate Judge, which fails to be a findings of fact and conclusions of law, a violation of the Equal Protection Clause, Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1, or a denial of due process of law in violation of Article 5 of an amendment by presuming incapacity without adjudication? So that's number 17. So that's all 17 questions. So this actual petition is like 40 pages. I don't know if you want to go through the whole thing, or do we want to go through and talk about, I went and filed some, in regards to the stuff we talked about last week. You guys gave me that brilliant book about, what's it called? It's called The Ultimate Court Case Killer. You know, that book.
It got you moving, eh?
Huh?
Did it get you moving this week? It got you writing affidavits or
I did some FOIA requests.
TILA?
I did some FOIA requests. The thing is that, you know, it was like it's a 75-page book, and it was like page 35 before I got to anything that was any kind of forms or instructions on doing anything. And but that was a FOIA request, and I thought the FOIA requests were great. Let me show you the ones that I did. I'll show you. Well, I made some changes to them, and so, but I sent in about 20 FOIA requests. I'll tell you, to the IRS. I just barely sent them in yesterday, though. So, you know, we'll see how long it takes to get a response. Let me find them.
For which cases did you do them on?
Well, I did them for the most recent ones. They actually responded when they made me a vexatious litigant. They responded to my motion, my demand for IRS 1099s, and they basically blew me off. So that's okay. It's all evidence. This is great. So this is the one I did for my recent court case. So it just said to go online, and so this was the address that was online for the Internal Revenue Service Disclosure Office. Freedom of Information Act request, fiduciary instruments and bonding. Dear FOIA officer, pursuant to the Freedom of Information Act 5 U.S.C. 552, I hereby request certified copies of the following documents currently maintained by your agency or in your possession. IRS Form 56 or Form 56F filed by Jeffrey Curtin, Mark Pittman, or Karen Mitchell acting in any fiduciary, judicial, or administrative capacity relating to GlennWinningham et al. Versus Joseph Rothrock, docket number 425 CV 1299. Any fiduciary bonds, registry instruments, or security filings recorded, reported, or associated with the above referenced case. Records showing CUSIP registration, monetization, or securities assignment related to court orders or property seizures in this matter. Please include any related filings, transmittals, or supporting documentation from the Department of the Treasury, Bureau of Fiscal Service, or any third-party depository institution. I think they summarized that brilliantly. And so, you know, we'll see what happens. You know, this is a two-edged sword. So if, see, it says in there, it goes through and explains how they have to file an IRS Form 56. If they're going to file a document on your behalf, then they got to file an IRS Form 56. And if they haven't filed that, then that's major felony. If they filed some documents on your behalf and they didn't file an IRS Form 56. So if they come back and they say, we don't have anything responsive to your request, and then all I have to do is get a forensic accountant to do some research for me and pull up a CUSIP number or anything related to this case, and they are going to be done. And that's evidence because of the fact that there was nothing in the disclosure. You see what I'm saying? And if there is stuff disclosed, then that's even better. then what I'm going to do.
Hey, Glenn, what do you think the chances are that they did not file that Form 56 or a myriad of others that would construe some type of fiduciary relationship or for them to be doing the shit that they do? What are the chances that they did not?
My first instinct is that they didn't. Okay, but you never know. You never know. But my first instinct is that they didn't. But if they didn't, it's going to be easy to build a case against them. And then all I have to do is get a forensic accountant to pull up some information on that and use a Form 211 whistleblower statement, and then the IRS will be all over them like bloodhounds, and I'll have that IRS FOIA request as evidence and the response. So any way it goes, it's going to be great evidence. And so I filed about 20 of these things with different cases. I got a bunch of cases they were mostly cases that I filed, but there's the case that where they arrested me in New Mexico. They went and had a $500,000 bond. It was a appearance bond, was $500,000, and then they dropped everything. And so you know what that means. That means that they issued some bid bond, performance bonds, and payments bonds worth way more than $500,000. I guarantee you. And so I am just chomping at the bit.
And Glenn, by the way, they didn't file anything with the IRS that would indicate that they made income off of those right. So the only forms or things that they would have filed, if any, would be those Bureau of Fiscal Services forms, whereby they can get the payments for forfeited things.
Exactly. And what I was going to do, I sent a nastygram to Reed O'Connor, who's the chief judge in the Northern District. And I sent a copy to Donald Trump, and then he got promoted to chief judge. And so I am sure that if I get some evidence like this, I'll send it to Donald Trump and I'll say, this is what they did to you. They forged your signature onto these contracts, and they did the same thing they did to me. They did it to you. And here's how you can, I'll send him a copy of the book and let him, I bet you he'll be on it like a wet blanket. I'll tell you, the shit will hit the fan. Anyways. So we'll see. That's all I can say.
Glenn, hey Glenn, what book are you talking about?
The one that they gave me last week. It was called The Ultimate Court Case Killer. It's on the ground.
It's in your room. It's in Glenn's room. Isn't it, Glenn? Yeah. If it isn't there, I'll put it in there.
You said, I'm sorry, I missed that last part that you said about the book.
It's not in my room, I don't think. The Ultimate Court Case. No, it's not. Your room. But it's in the main room. It was in the main room. That's where I got it from. The general room.
I'll bring it forward so it's easy to grab. No problem.
Okay. Anyways, that book is just chock full of all sorts of stuff. I mean, I only at page 36 right now, and I'm doing these 456, these IRS FOIA requests. So I'm really curious to see what comes out of this. And I sent about 20 of them in, all in the same envelope, 20 different ones for 20 different court cases, and all in the same envelope. And so I know that it's gonna come up with who knows what. Any way you want to look at it, it's going to be evidence.
The court case killer is reporting the case, which is a big old account number, that transaction that was done on your disbenefit and on your behalf and disbenefit. Report that transaction, because then the parties will be exposed, and the one that earned the income is going to have to start talking.
Yeah, it's called tax evasion.
Absolutely. And it's been said that the vast majority of them just thumb their noses at any type of, they can't be bothered with any type of IRS compliance.
Well, it's 26%. That cuts into your $10 million big time. But when I do the Form 211 whistleblower, I get 35% of whatever taxes they collect. And so and the IRS agent gets like 5%. They get a commission. And so when they see that shit, they're going to be all over it like a wet blanket because they're going to get some money out of it.
Yeah, that's a great incentive because we're in the middle of doing something ourselves, and we've been kind of like, are the IRS going to even, respond? But knowing that 5% thing, that's a great incentive for them.
Yeah, it's in the codes. They get 5%. Any IRS agent gets 5% of whatever they collect.
It's a written admission that's very powerful. Yes, it gets them to act.
Yeah. Well, if it's $1 million, think about it. That's $50,000. I mean, I don't know what their salary is, but I'll bet you that's, it's not 50. Maybe it is 50,000 a year. It'll be double their salary.
Well, that book also talks about the CRISP system and how they're all connected with.
I haven't even gotten into that stuff. It's full of all sorts of stuff that you can use as ammunition. And so right now I'm just doing the FOIA requests and see what shakes out of the bushes. You know what I mean?
Well, Glenn, I'm gonna tell you real quick what we did. We did the records request on we have a CPS case, and the presiding judge of the family court came and sent us a letter with her signature stating that there is no bonds or any accounting for her to give us, and we already have the QSIP. So she's lying.
Yeah, no shit.
Lying. They be lying. They be lying like rugs. Especially when you request those things in writing, because they're they don't want to tell on themselves all the way, but those records are going to do it. And with respect to making those reports for the transactions, because it's all transactions, mentioning that CRIS system, it's like their bank, if you will, like their transfer agent. So if you can get to the bottom line of who they're banking with, who their transfer agents are, then you can report that to the regulatory and enforcement agencies for the banks. Let me tell you, they ain't gonna have their asses on the line for those crooks.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly.
You see, it all comes it all comes down to the bank. And so when you send those the evidence and the information that you've gathered on any of these cases to the bank and the comptroller of the currency, then that's your ultimate report. They're going to get those things straightened out.
Exactly. Okay. That's why I like this FOIA request, because it's asking for fiduciary bonds, registry instruments, security filings recorded. If those securities are unregistered, that's a felony, and the SEC will seize the QSIP, is usually for a bond fund or something like that security is in, and they'll seize the whole bond fund and shut it down until that security gets kicked out. So you start filing SEC reports for fraudulent securities and stuff like that. I'm telling you, the shit hits the fan.
A lot of times they don't have them registered because they want to kind of like hide from those regulatory disclosures.
Exactly.
And they hide them in their trust and things, but that still doesn't what am I trying excuse them from the income taxes that they are required to pay, because they're the party that earned income off of investing and trading around the credits of the the Social Security person. So there you go.
Well, a lot of these, at least from what I'm hearing, and I don't know for sure, but I've heard a lot of them are in bond funds and stuff like that. So you'll the QSIP number, you do a search for that criminal court case or the court case, and it'll come up with the QSIP, and the QSIP will actually be for some bond fund, and it's got like $50 million in it, and yours is just a small part of that, and so they'll seize that whole fund though under if there's a fraudulent security in there, they'll seize that whole fund. You file an SEC a complaint. There's a form that you have to file. It's Todd Dool talks about it, and because it's an unregistered security, the securities have to be registered, and so if it's an unregistered security, then they have to be registered, or they'll when you bring it to their attention, the shit will hit the fan. So, anyways,
They've got them registered to trust and stuff like that. But to your point, where the SEC comes in is because they're banks, okay? They're transfer agents, they're trustees are required to have the full disclosure statements filed at the SEC. So that's the, what am I trying to say? That's the path, the path that connects them to the compliance aspect of the SEC. So
anyways, I guess we'll see. But anyways, I really like these. I filed about 20 of them. I mailed them, so they're probably, I put them in the mail a couple days ago, so they're probably not even there yet. But I'm really curious to see, because I named, and this one here, this is the magistrate judge, this is the judge, and this is the court clerk. So I'm not sure that the magistrate judge would be involved in that. Usually it's either the judge or the court clerk. But either way, I got them all there, and so we'll see. You know what I mean?
Glenn, who did you send?
Oh, go ahead, David, Melody. My bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just asking who he sent the FOIA request to.
Well, it's just a number I got online at the IRS's website, right here. It's just a number I got online. You can actually.
He sent it to the IRS. He's asking the IRS to provide those records.
Yeah, that's where you would send it, right?
Yeah, where else? So what's so awesome about FOIA and FOIL and transparency laws and right to know is that every one of these public type holding companies, whether it's a government agency or whatever, or even a corporation, they have freedom of information officers and stuff for compliance reasons. So you can go directly to the places that you are, that you're doing business with, and make those requests. And if they don't have the forms and stuff, a blank piece of paper will do, and with specificity, you request those records and things, and then you have them, you give it to them, have them stamp it and give you a copy. And so they have, and then in their I want to say codes and statutes and stuff, they all have Freedom of Information Act contractual terms and stuff that they have to comply with. So and they're so awesome. They're so awesome.
Freedom of Information Act is for federal. In your state, like in Texas, it's public information requests that you do in Texas, at least. Every state's going to be a little bit different as far as your state stuff, but this is all federal, and so the FOIA is federal stuff. And she's right. They all have requirements. There's stuff they're required to disclose, and there's stuff they're not required to disclose, but this is all stuff that they're required to disclose. That book, basically this form is taken off of that book, And so, I just added in, my name and the name of the judges and the clerk and the case number and the case style. And it's really important. This request is made for purpose of lawful claim verification under penalty of perjury and not for commercial gain. Please notify me in advance if fees exceed $25. So it's just for claim verification. It's not for commercial gain. And
That's awesome. So would that work for any type of information that you request them that would otherwise be considered not authorized or something, or you have to be an attorney or something like that to get? The purpose of the request for the records is for claims verification. Like that could be a blanket bona fide reason for requesting the records. Yeah.
Well, again, see here, it's GlennWinningham, and here the case is GlennWinningham. So this is my property, okay? They keep on as part of their records, and so this is a case that I'm involved in. Um, so yeah, claim verification. I'm not trying to get commercial gain or anything like that. I think that that's important to put that in there. They had it in there, and I think it's brilliant. It's well thought out. So we'll see. I'm certainly, not an expert. I don't do a lot of FOIA requests, but this makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, there's been a lot said about it, and very clever and honorable folks using them strategically for a very successful outcome and getting all kinds of information like emails, phone calls, transcripts and stuff. So it seems like the key to it there is just being very specific with respect to the records that are being requested. And as long as they are being maintained in a system of records pertaining to that public person, it seems like the information has to be, released. And to your point earlier, under the concept or the doctrine, if you will, is detailed in the Freedom of Information Act, and then the states have adopted those concepts and doctrines whereby transparency, right to know, all those things are happening. And also, it should be free as indicative of its title. So that's the other little fun part. They put their overlays on there to say, oh, it's going to cost this much. That cost is only applicable when it costs them something.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be free.
But I'm asking for, up at the very front, I'm asking for certified copies. Certified copies, and which means that there'll probably be some sort of fee, which was okay because if I'm going to file a lawsuit or you got to have certified copies. Okay, that's the only thing that's admissible as evidence is a certified copy, and so that's the only way you can do something like that. But when you get certified copies, then you start. I'm telling you, you start doing whistleblower forms with certified copies showing, something's going on here. There's going to be I can see getting some pretty nice whistleblower awards. I guess we'll see. That's all I can say.
Whistleblower award. That's cool.
Hey, I'm Peggy. I just popped in a little bit ago listening to this, and I'm glad I did, because this is motivational for myself, because I just had a case dismissed in my world, which is good for me. But it's a matter of now moving forward to get paid, and hearing you, Glenn, really helps me out here a bit. So I just wanted to say hello to everyone and say thank you at the same time.
Well, you can get the book that I got this from. It's called The Ultimate Court Case Killer. It's on my page at the WeRLaw group. Lori's the one that, somebody else uploaded it to the group, and Lori's the one that, brought it to my attention. And so there's a lot of really good stuff in there. And these judges nowadays are so crooked. And that's a lot of the reason why I want to do this stuff is to expose these whores masquerading as judges. And don't get me going.
Well, that's the only way it's going to stop. Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me going either, I tell you. I mean, I've had so much anxiety throughout all of this, but hearing you share what you're doing really helps me out with keeping that focus and motivation.
And just lastly, so you can get done there with he was reading to us some stuff that he recently filed. The purpose or the reason for I guess would be the purpose of the records request is to verify a claim. Is that what it was? I got to keep a note of that.
No, to see if the magistrate has a Form 56 on file.
Oh, no. Yeah, but what he was mentioning, a good like blanket statement that would apply to any type of information request. What was it, Glenn? For claim verification? Is that what you were saying? He went away. I think he said claim verification. He said it was in that book.
He asked for certified copies, yeah, so that he can submit it into his court filings, right?
Yeah, for sure. But when it comes to doing the records request, the information request, they'll be like, what do you want them for? Is that type of stuff.
So what I'll do is I'll upload a Word file, and then you guys can modify it. Because all I did is, this is a Word file that I got off of the off of that book. It's and then I modified it a little bit but all I did is change the court case, the cause of action or the style of the case, and the name of the judges. That's the only thing that I changed in it. Anyways.
So the sister who she got her Peggy Michelle got her you got your case dismissed. So now you're wanting to go back and make sure the financials and stuff are accounted for and the books are balanced. And so what that would apply probably for any type of situation where it's like, oh, the case is closed, or we're not gonna take the case. What should be done as a next step is all the records and accounting associated with that account or that project should be returned to the owner. Is that what you were indicating earlier, Glenn, too? You there, Glenn?
What's that? What's that? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, and what Peggy had shared about she was able to use FOIA to get a dismissal, but she needs to go the next step and get all the accounting and stuff.
Let me correct.
That's the justification. But once you get the accounting, it exposes the felonies they're involved in. And that's my motivation, because I want to see them get arrested.
Let me just clarify. I have not done a FOIA. The case was just dismissed. And my next step, I thought, would be asking for a certified copy of I believe, the full case file. And I would then, from that, see if the records and accounting are in it. Yes, no, or maybe I'm skipping a step.
I think reading that book is really going to help you settle all those questions.
Sounds good. And the book is called Ultimate Something.
Ultimate Court Killer. And
Court Killer.
It's going to be labeled as killer document. So open it up and it's
killer document.
It's 73 pages
You're
of
killing
very
me.
well scripted templates for requesting all the information from the court docket. So everything that you want, if you're suspecting anything of,
Thank you.
Yeah. The
Thank you.
accounting, which I'm told
Yeah.
they never have, but that's your admission there, right? You get a certified copy that there was no certified accounts on record, and
right in the file.
Yeah, there you go. They've acted inappropriately. It does get you, well, whatever you ask for. If you want restoration, if you want recoupment, it depends on what you're wanting, right? So it's all open-ended, so you can just fill in your docket number and specify it to your needs, especially if there's I found it really interesting when they start screwing with family property and start pulling out bonds on children, and that's all very illegal. They are not to tamper with minors' estates and in the CPS cases, and they're putting bonds on those too. So it shows you how to request information on all of that.
Thank you. Just to share with this group, I didn't know what was going to stick, and the few friends that I have that have quite a bit of expertise and knowledge decided to just like go to Tahiti or something like that. They just blew the coop. So I threw a lot of things at the wall and see what would stick. So I did quite a few things with one of the responses that the judge wanted, and they claim that it's based upon the other parties that they're going to dismiss the case. They probably didn't even want to touch what I put in. So
congratulations, that's a huge
it's a huge win for me.
Yeah.
I put in an affidavit, a questionnaire that one lady had sent to me, asking the judge if the judge will be benefiting off of this case financially off of the CRIS system, yes or no. Well, the judge never responded. And then another, when I respond, a letter stating, my response to the judge, I put myself, my lower case autograph, name, comma, beneficiary, in a couple of different spots with the family crest, and I used dollar stamps, canceled them out. And then there were 2 counts. It was a civil case. And I also put in 2 sets of bonds, dollar stamps on the front and back of each. It's just like I'm not playing with this, you know, and I don't know what stuck, but I'm just happy that I threw everything out there and it's now done. Now I just have to figure out how to get that bond money that I stated on there. So I've been looking for someone to hire, I guess you could say, to do like the forensic audit and do everything that needs to be done, which doesn't, it's not going to take a short period of time, but, it can be done. I'm just burnt out and I've got other cases now that I have to move forward with without my friends, expert friends in common law that have flown to Tahiti, who said that they would be there to help. It's just so much fun. When in doubt, throw everything to the wall and see what sticks. That's my motto now.
I think the key there was that you mentioned them profiting off of your case with the Chris system.
Oh yeah, that was a hell of a question. he can't answer that one truthfully without exposing himself.
Yeah,
But
because the yes would have been like, well, you're going to have to recuse. You're going to have to recuse yourself, and you're going to have to do a full acquittal and dismissal. And if the answer is no, then I'm going to report you to something or another. I mean, it's just like either way you answer, you're going to be tag, you're it. And then the other is within the letter. Oh, shoot. Within the letter, I also challenged jurisdiction. So there were multiple things that I threw out there. Challenging jurisdictions, the affidavit of questionnaire, the surety bonds, being a beneficiary with the family crest, and $50 worth of postage stamps, I believe, if not a little bit more, dollar stamps on front and back sides of each. So
each what? Of each piece of paper?
yep, each piece of paper. Especially the bonds.
So you paid the tax, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what closed out the case, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
So
well,
I just got to figure out.
I guess
how to
that's
get
about
paid.
it, eh?
Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah, you've really gone to the racetrack with this, doing all these FOIAs this week. That's awesome.
Well, I'm
So
curious to
it's
see
like
what
you're the road runner now.
curious to see what comes out of it, and I'm going to start reading this book and see what the next step is. But I can see right now that if I, no matter what the response is, it's going to be good.
Yeah, when you get to the 3949As, that's where you need to submit affidavits and explain your circumstance, and that's when then you file the 211s. It's part of doing the 211, and that's the next part of the book, which is very good. So you get that done next week. No, that's what I'm working on right now myself. I read it last week too, and I'm already doing the 3949. So
well, I got to wait and see what this shakes out of the bushes. You know what I mean? If no matter what comes,
you're in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no shit.
I'm post. So
I'm gonna break it off in somebody's ass. I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, all right. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place, same channel.
Okay, sounds good. I'll be here.
All right.
Don't be late.
All right.
Don't be late.
Take care.
Maybe I'll have a bad joke. Okay. Take care.
See ya.
Take care. I'm gonna go drop that book now in your room. Okay. Take care.
Okay.
I've
Bye.
got a joke.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
What do you call a pencil with 2 erasers?
Pencil dick.
A liar?
No, pointless.
Call it what?
Pointless.
Pointless. Yeah, right. You're right there. It's pointless. Okay. See you guys next week.